Hey everybody, welcome back. Donald Trump won. A perceived red wave has happened, but what does that mean for the Second Amendment going forward? There's a reason I'm telling you this. There are some concerns I have, and I also want to dispel some of what I've seen in my comments, saying that, the first thing we should do is get rid of the NFA, and I'm going to tell you why that's probably a pipe dream, regardless. And also some other comments that I've seen. So before we jump into the comments of obviously what people write down as their opinion and how they feel, so I don't want to stomp on people's feelings, but I want to just try to get people to be a little realistic and where we go from here and how it will probably go. So Donald Trump has already started having meetings with what's going to be his cabinet, and talking to individuals that he wants to instill in key positions. And we're being told it's going to be drastically different from the last time because now he knows how to govern, right? What does this mean for the Second Amendment specifically? This is what I'm going to focus on. It looks as though Republicans, but America, appears as though freedom and hopefully the Constitution has regained, and speaking of freedom, we'll get to this, regained control of the corner office and both chambers. This is our new hat from Blackout Coffee with our newish looking logo there. This will be on the website shortly. I got one when they came in because as an owner you can do that. And also I want to say today's video is brought to us by our friends over at Brownells. Brownells has a ton of stuff on their site. If you want to buy tools to fix your tools, or cleaning supplies, reloading supplies, they have a ton of stuff over at Brownells. And if you use code GNG10, you can save on most of the products that they offer. They're right here in America over in Grinnell, Iowa, and I'll be heading out there in 2 weeks. More on that later. All right, so Donald Trump won the election. He won the popular vote by over 5 million votes, and he won the Electoral College. It looks like was a 314 to 226, which by all accounts it's a landslide. It's not quite the Ronald Reagan ass whooping, but it's a landslide. And he took all 6 battleground states, which is huge. Now, the Senate, obviously you need a bill to go through both chambers before it can go to the president, right? Which is why I want to talk about the NFA right after this. The Senate, the Republicans have regained control of the Senate. There are still 3 states that haven't called their Senate races. So as it stands, as I am recording this here on Thursday, November 7th, Republicans have 52 Senate seats to 45 Democrat seats, with Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona still yet to decide. I just count the damn votes, but I will give you the rundown of right now where those states lie. Pennsylvania, the Democrat McCormick has a 0.40% lead. It is very, very close with, 98.42% of the votes in. So he's got 48.94, McCormick have 48.94% of the votes. So it's very, very close, too close to call, obviously, right there. And maybe that goes to a runoff, or not a runoff, I'm sorry, a recount. Arizona, Gallego has a 2.10% lead. Currently has 50.5% of the vote, with only 68.88% of the votes in. And Nevada, Rossin has a 0.90% lead, which is 47.64% of the vote total, and 89.62% of the votes have been counted. So there's still some, they're pretty close. I mean, 98.4% is close, but because the Democrat leads by less than 0.5%, that's not enough to count. And same with the Republicans, another 2. Now, Republicans will have control of the Senate. And before I go to the House, the Senate, all right, the Senate. We need both chambers so that bills don't get stonewalled for 4 years, or at least for 2 until the midterms. And we also need the Republicans to all work together so that bills can get through, not like the opposite of when Donald Trump was president in his first term. The first 2 years, Republicans had control and didn't do much specifically for the Second Amendment. Did a lot of stuff that helped the economy and helped the country as a whole, but we're talking the Second Amendment here. So remember, you need 60 votes in the Senate. So you need 60 senators to agree on a bill to bring it to the floor for a vote. 100 senators, you need 60. That's the cloture to defeat the filibuster. I've seen people say get rid of the filibuster because the Democrats told us they were getting rid of it if they won this election anyway. The filibuster is there for a reason. It's put in by our founding fathers. It's supposed to be there. Let's move to the House, and then we'll get on to the NFA here. The House, again, as I am recording it right now, you need 218 to have a majority in the House. 205 seats have gone to the Republicans versus 191 to the Democrats. The Republicans have flipped 4 seats. They flipped 3 in the Senate, 4 so far in the House, but they need 218. So we still have quite a bit outstanding. But it looks like Republicans will regain control of the House. Now, to the NFA. We got a lot of people that said, first thing Trump should do is we're going to get rid of the NFA. Probably not going to happen if I'm being honest with you, because of everything that surrounds what the NFA is and has been. Is it unconstitutional? 100%. Is it illegal? Absolutely. I think we'll have more success with taking chunks of it away. We had the Hearing Protection Act and the Shush Act. Both of those had enough. Well, the Hearing Protection Act, which would take suppressors and treat them like just a normal untaxed thing. You could go in and buy them and didn't have to worry about the $200 tax. It had the votes to pass in Trump's previous term, but as soon as they said they had the votes, then that shooting happened at the Republican baseball practice, where Steve Scalise got shot, tragically got shot up, and other people got hurt too. So it's going to have to be something where they take chunks here and there. So take suppressors out. There's so many of them out there. It's obvious that they are in common use. Heller says can't do that. Plus, they're not a firearm. They're really not. They're a muffler. So if they're firearms, then I have 2 firearms on the exhaust system on my cars. And then SBR is short barrel rifles, and SBS is short barrel shotguns. There are bills on both of those. They were GOA sponsored bills that if we now have the House and the Senate and an executive that is willing to sign them, well, then they should be able to go through no problem as long as we get those 60 in the Senate. So that's the NFA thing I wanted to put out there. Everybody gets excited. All right, Trump won. Everything's going to go our way right now. Nope, that's not how it's going to go. We'll probably win more than not. But remember, it comes down to who's advising Donald Trump. And it still comes down to the House and the Senate. Doesn't matter what he says. He's already said he'll sign a concealed carry reciprocity law if it makes it to his desk. He said it in his last term too. But it still has to get there. So we're still going to need to put heat on our senators and our representatives. Yes, I'm still going to tell you about bills that are submitted, whether they're good or bad, if I see there's a risk of a bad bill maybe gaining momentum. Remember that there were Republicans, entrenched Republicans too, who sold out the Second Amendment and the Constitution to get the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Remember, never forget that. So if I see it's going to get steam, if I hear from my colleagues on the Hill that, Jared, we need to get the word out on this because of this, then I'll bring it to you, because you still need to light up the phones on these people. You still need to put pressure on them. Don't go rest now. Never, ever rest easy. These are our employees, so stay fired up. You're going to have to get on these people, trust me, because no politician is 100% trustworthy. If you put blind faith in a politician, you just made a mistake. So I will keep you all in the know, and that is where we stand right now on what's going on in the Second Amendment post the election. We still need to get to Inauguration Day, so keep your eyes open, stay strapped, stay vigilant, because you never know. I mean, last night they were protesting in Chicago outside of, was it Trump Tower, Chicago, or whatever it's called, but they're out there doing it. The blue hairs are crying left and right. You know, it's okay to have a little fun after you perceive, you won something, like we won the election. Okay, we can poke a little fun at the people who are having Kamala breakdowns right now. But ultimately, we're an American populace. We have more that we have in common. We can vote differently and still help neighbors. And it's our job to help them see the errors of their way. So let me know what you all think about what I think going forward here. I would probably see a potential for a concealed carry reciprocity act actually getting signed. And remember, I want to say this too. In this previous term, Donald Trump made some serious errors because he was told by the National Rifle Association to do that. He now has his ear is now towards gun owners of America. And they're not going to say, you know what, Mr. President, it's okay to go violate people's rights with red flag law. It's okay to go after bump stocks, Mr. President. You know, it's okay to do this or that, or you know, have the ATF do all this background administrative gun control. They're not going to advise him to do that. So he now will be listening to GOA as well as whatever else he decides to listen to. He is the president. But that is a good thing. Things are a little different. So I'm looking forward to it. But again, I am always watching, and I will let you know when I see chicanery, no matter who it is. There are no perfect candidates. There are no perfect politicians. Everybody in power, you need to check them constantly. Otherwise, they get a little too big-headed and use it for bad instead of for good. Appreciate y'all. Be safe, stay vigilant, carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. Check us out at blackoutcoffee.com/GNG and use code GNG10 over there as well. And check out Brown Mills. Take care.